Pastoral da Criança uses the media to strengthen, expand and complement the activity of community leaders of promoting children's education in the family, building a culture of peace and ensuring a better quality of life to pregnant women and children up to 6 years old in the family and community environment. Pastoral da Criança develops its own educational materials. The experiences and strategies of communication and education are divided into 3 converging areas. Printed materials. Printed materials are designed specifically to help out the training of the volunteers and community leaders of Pastoral da Criança and to serve as a working tool in the task of guiding families and communities about health issues, nutrition, education and citizenship. Besides the new edition of the book, Guide of the Leader of Pastoral da Criança, other recent titles were printed like Coordination Teams Training, Toys and Games, Food and Vegetable Gardens, Youth and Adult Education, and Social Participation for a Better Public Health Service. The monthly journal of Pastoral da Criança, with a distribution of 3,300,000 copies a year, reaches all the leaders and volunteers of Pastoral da Criança. It is a tool for continuous education. Besides having information, it is necessary for people to access it, building a successful strategy to disseminate the information throughout the country. The Bulletin of the Brazilian Network of Information and Documentation on Childhood and Adolescence, Rebidia, with 120,000 copies annually, discloses to the municipalities and volunteers issues the public policies and social participation, caring on the belief that children and adolescents are the priority subject matter in any country. The newsletter, called Tips, covers issues related to health and education through a didactic approach. It is specially designed for the coordinators and multipliers teams of Pastoral da Criança. Each publication reaches 7,000 coordination teams. To assist and monitor pregnant women, the Pastoral da Criança created the card pack Laces of Love, which contains 15 printed cards for monthly kind advice on health, pregnancy and delivery using the words of the own child in the womb. A printed material of great social impact is the flyer with the 10 Commandments for Peace in the Family, given out to families of the community. Up to now, 15 million of these flyers were distributed in recent years. In addition to these printed materials, Pastoral da Criança sends to the communities weighing scales, measuring spoons for the oral rehydration solution, and supplies of toys for children to play in the Life Celebration Day. Sound and video materials. Pastoral da Criança produces sound and video resources. The radio program called Cheering Life, produced and recorded in the studio of Pastoral da Criança, reaches millions of listeners throughout Brazil. Cheering Life discusses issues like health, children's rights, early childhood education and social transformation. The program is broadcasted 3,740 times weekly and is on air for 2,310 hours every week in the Brazilian radios. Additionally, the Cheering Life program is also listened on various types of sound systems and used in group meetings as well. To further strengthen its presence through the radio, interviews and special sound materials are elaborated to support local programs in which the theme is Pastoral da Criança. There are today 1,099 local programs a week. Pastoral da Criança also produces educational DVDs to enhance and publicize its activity in the grassroots communities. There are now 12 titles dealing with prevention of violence against children, healthy food, pregnancy, participation in the municipal councils, HIV, AIDS prevention, and others. Good advice. An example is the DVD The Good Advice. The training of representatives of the Pastoral da Criança in the public policy boards and councils of the 4,000 municipalities is carried out with appropriate language, updated educational materials, which promotes debate and makes wider the knowledge about the rights of children and adolescents. Campaigns. Pastoral da Criança performs and collaborates in several campaigns to improve life quality of pregnant women, families and children. Here are some examples. Campaign of Oral Rehydration Solution.
Today, I am going to teach you how to do homemade serum. In a glass of boiled or filtered water, add 2 measurements of sugar and 1 of salt. Then mix, and mix some more. Who wants a drink?
Campaign for birth certification. The lack of information, the distance from the registration office and the bureaucracy are some of the reasons for excluding people from birth certification. The ongoing National Coalition for Birth Civil Registration brings together the Brazilian state and society to guarantee to every citizen a registered first and last name and its rights. Campaign to encourage breastfeeding. Breast milk is a perfect food that God has made available in the first years of life. Permanently, the Pastoral da Criança endorses that exclusively breastfeeding until 6 months old, and after continuing with other foods, protects against diseases, helps the development and strengthens the child. Campaign for the prevention of tuberculosis, pneumonia and leprosy. These 3 diseases still affect many children and adults in Brazil. Pastoral da Criança prepares specific communications material to instruct the population about the symptoms, treatment and means of preventing these diseases. Campaign for basic sanitation. Access to drinking water and sewage treatment contributes to reducing infancy mortality. Pastoral da Criança, in partnership with other agencies, mobilizes the community to demand such services from local government and uses the media to disseminate information related to basic sanitation rights and duties. Prevention campaign, HIV, AIDS and syphilis. The test for preventive HIV, AIDS and syphilis during the prenatal period decreased from 25% to 1%. The risk of transmission of these diseases to the baby. Pastoral da Criança supports the national campaign for early diagnosis and treatment of these diseases. Campaign This Side Up. Placing healthy babies on their backs to sleep prevents sudden death of babies. In order to alert the population about the risks and avoid up to 70% of sudden deaths of babies, Pastoral da Criança launched this great campaign, instructing families to lay their babies to sleep on their backs. Campaign to prevent violence against children. With this permanent campaign, Pastoral da Criança discloses to families and the society the necessity of preventing violence, beatings and sexual abuse. The first campaign was made in 1999 and became a permanent program of Pastoral da Criança. It includes the distribution of a leaflet with the 10 commandments for peace in the family as an encouragement to keep children in an environment of peace and harmony. Campaign November the 20th, Day of Prayer and Action for Children, along with the Global Network of Religions for Children, GNRC, Pastoral da Criança takes part of the global effort for having a comprehensive care and protection for children and adolescents. On the anniversary of the Convention on the Rights of the Child in 2008, a prayer for the children, specially formulated for the date, was distributed in numerous media and internet pages and heard by thousands of people through the radio.